Hello, we're checking out I'm Making a Monster for the non-binary coded games festival on Steam. And Zorky Studios reached out to me with both of their demos, and I own both of their games already. So with their quality dreams reasonable priced, I played the demo and I was like really intrigued, and I thought like I just want to play the full game. So I waited until the full game came out, and I managed to pick it up during a bundle. But it does deal with taking care of a sick animal, and if you've followed my channel for a while, you know that I've done that for a very many years. So I didn't think I could handle it right now. So I'm Making a Monster just came out, and I did pick it up right away. They only offered the demos. I didn't take any keys. Their work is just absolutely beautiful, and so I was really looking forward to checking this one out. That being said, this might be edited a little bit weird because this one is dealing with grief, and there's a very good chance I'm gonna cry multiple times. I don't love crying on stream, so I usually like stop and then take a little break and then, come back to it. So there's probably gonna be a lot of like really sharp cuts just so that I can take a second and recompose myself, you know? But I am still really looking forward to this. The thing is I like games like this where I find them very cathartic, but I don't record them a lot because, it's more of a private thing. However, I want you to play Zorky Studio games. So, here's our content warning. So obviously, if any of these you think might trigger you, please, take care of yourself. It has grief, alcohol consumption, but no inebriation, using distractions to run from issues, self-neglect, not eating or resting, discussions of therapy and optional therapy visits, and then friend stage interventions in some routes. So we'll see how badly I play. We might end up at the intervention. All right, let's start into it here. We'll do they, them, theirs. I do really like all of the, oh, it even has a preview. They like their walks in the park. Oh, they like walks in the parks. They don't want anyone to talk to them. Their hair gets wet from the rain. Ophir hadn't realized it was raining. They keep walking anyways. We'll stick with Ophir Sonnet. I like the going the default names. Change pronoun every time. Oh, this is so cool. So what happens if you... Now let's pick a whole bunch. This is actually like super helpful, especially if you're like not sure about some of these pronouns anyway, like how to use them, that sort of thing. This is really helpful. I do kind of wonder if they like reached out to their community, like Zorky Studios, to figure out like what the most common, pronouns that they would want to implement into their game, or if it's like specifically people that are already in their community that they want to represent. That's really interesting. All right, let's start here. Ophir Sonnet has been shut in the room for a month. They have not eaten a proper meal in more than a week. They have only drunk water under extreme duress. Today, Ophir opens the door to their room of their own volition, an occurrence their friends will be equally excited and nervous about, and stumbles from its dark depths with a dehydrated wobble in their step. Fumbling for some scrap of paper and tearing a lid off a pen, Ophir drops onto a stool and begins to sketch. Fervor and ink splatters onto a page after... Fervor and ink splatter onto page after page in unsteady strokes. Hours later. After many hours during which friends come over and find Ophir are... Okay, hold on. After many hours, during which friends come over and find Ophir, are relieved to see them out of their room, and then distraught to find Ophir unable to tear themselves from their work. Ophir holds up a final page of formulas and diagrams. Exclaim in triumph. Yes, they say it can be done. Ophir almost bounces up from their stool, but they lack the energy or coordination. Instead, they settle for lifting the page up, aiming at their work. What can be done? Ophir jumps at the sound, almost falling over in the process. They had not noticed that a friend had crept into their kitchen while they worked. Abella leans out the doorway, mixing bowl in hand, trying to hide her worry behind a smile. Ophir does not try to hide the rising excitement. Oh, Abella, they say. I'm going to make something unlike anything I've ever made. Abella continues stirring, waiting. She has played this game before. Make something redemptive. I'm making, Ophir continues, something redemptive. Abella raises an eyebrow. Tell the truth. I'm making a monster. Abella nods, trying to hide her mounting concern. Abella leaves shortly after that, depositing a salad Ophir promised to eat on their work table. Eat some salad. Ophir pauses their work to swallow a few bites of salad. They're not sure if they've eaten anything else today. It is hard to pull themselves from the work, but they realize that they need food or they will lack the strength to complete it. After eating more salad, they examine their plans. Creating a living being is an exhaustingly complex venture, but Ophir is nothing if not tenacious. They pursued their lifeless exile with the same resolve. They now return to their work. Nothing will make Ophir away from this task. They are making a monster. But where to start? A monster needs many parts. Okay, I think we start with the skeleton because the nervous system needs something to support it, and I think leaving a husk of skin around is just gonna make people a little bit more worried about us. Whereas if we're building a skeleton, that's just like a novelty you have in your room, or in your skin. I think the skeleton is the least concerning. Ooh, it's always safe to start with the base. Ophir pulls out their notes on forming the monster's bone. Ophir considers the best way to build the monster's bone. I'm kind of into plant magic. I've always kind of been like really fascinated with like dryads and stuff like that. But the mechatronics looks like really fucking cool. I'm only gonna try and play like one route of this because I want you to be able to play your own and have a really nice time. So let's start with plant magic. We'll check out plant magic. Using plant magic to make the monster skeleton could work. A skeleton of living wood could be supple and strong. Yes, it could work quite nicely. Now just determine how to acquire plants with the properties they'd need. Ooh, let's grow the wood. It'll take longer, but I think it's worth it. With enough time and effort, Ophir can work out a way of accelerating plant growth to cultivate an entire living skeleton. It'll be slower than finding wood to use, but Ophir can ensure quality is up to their precise standards. Ophir estimates this should take them 5 months to complete. I think the thing too is plants have like a history where you can sort of grow them in specific ways. So making like a skeleton, basically making a skeleton for them to grow on to make another skeleton would be fun. All right, after a month of work. After a month of work, Abella visits again. She rarely looks around the lab for Ophir's setup. So how is the monster coming along? Was I supposed to pick one? Oh, it's going well. I'm making excellent progress on the monster's bones. I see, says Abella, fighting to maintain a neutral tone. She takes a breath. It's warm out today. How about we go for a walk? We're gonna go for a walk. Yeah, okay, Ophir sits standing from their stool. Let me just grab my coat. You don't need a coat. It's June. Ophir looks over from the closet they're wrestling in. They furrow their brows. June? Mm-hmm. Is probably for the best that Ophir is leaving the apartment. I am this person, unfortunately. I never know what month it is. Abella brings Ophir to a park they used to frequent before. She was right. The weather is gorgeous. A warm breeze ruffles through the tree canopy that frames the worn path. Hold on. Abella brings Ophir to a park they used to frequent before. She was right. The weather was gorgeous. A warm breeze ruffles through the tree canopy that frames the worn path the two walk along. Ophir and Abella catch up on small things. Max has developed a spell to remove excess earwax. Corey has joined a jazz band. Ophir slowly realizes that they miss their friends. Last to meet again. The art, I know I haven't been pointing it out, but like, it's so pretty. And I really love like the watercolor textured paper as the background. It like adds so much. This was nice, Abella. Thanks for joining me outside. Would it be alright if we did something like this again? A huge grin breaks across Abella's face. Of course, I'll see you soon. Okay, Ophir's in the second month of their work when they hit a snag. The wooden bones aren't connecting as planned. They'll need to figure out a new strategy for attaching them. This will add a month to their work. Estimate. Okay. Ophir's in the middle of some complicated calculations when Corey bounced through the front door unannounced. Maybe Ophir should start locking it. You coming to the concert? Corey asks. Who are you? What concert? What concert? Ophir replies, barely looking up from the work. Oh, come on, Corey girls. I joined a jazz band. We're doing a midsummer performance. Any ringing the bells? Not in the least. Sorry. Corey sighs loudly. We're performing July 21st. Here's a ticket. A small rectangular shoes drawn into Ophir's desk. See you there? We'll go to the concert. Definitely, Ophir examines the page. They can take some time off to support their friend. Sweet. See you then. On the 29th, Ophir arrives at the concert exactly 5 minutes early. Their ticket has been an assigned seat, and they are surprised to find that they're in the front row. Abella and Max are already there waiting. They smile when they see Ophir approach. Corey was worried you wouldn't show, but I knew you'd make time, Abella confides. Of course they'd show up. There's no uncertainty in my decision. This is important to Corey. I think it was just because you've been absent lately, Max explains. At that, Ophir falls silent. Well, it's great to see you here, Max says with a smile. I like this nose piercing. Is that like common? It's cool. Oh, the like color change. Okay, the concert is fun. The music is a bit loud at times. Isn't jazz supposed to be soothing? But Ophir appreciates the energy. Corey looks like he's having an amazing time. Ophir can't remember when Corey started learning the bass. Was it during? Maybe Ophir will ask Abella about it later. After the show, the three friends and Ophir go back to Max's to celebrate. Ophir is surprised to learn that Max had moved apartments. When did that happen? Maybe they've been a little overly engrossed in their work. Ophir promised themselves to make more of an effort to spend time with their friends. After a week of struggling with new flowering plant graft... Hold on. After a week of struggling with a new flowering plant graft, Ophir finally gets part of the skeleton working to their satisfaction. They turn to share the breakthrough with, but the lab is empty. Ophir is still alone. The months passes. One morning, Ophir is distracted by a knock at their door. This is odd because most of the friends don't bother knocking. Tentatively interested drawn by mystery, Ophir crosses the room and cracks the door open. Standing in the threshold is Luxum, a friend Ophir hasn't seen in more than a year. She smiles at Ophir a bit nervously. Hi, she says. Do you have a minute? Invite her in. Of course, please come in, Ophir steps aside, motioning her forwards. No need, she says. I just stopped by to see if you're free tonight. I'm showing in an art exhibition, and I wanted to ask if you could make it. Her eyes are hopeful. Agree. That sounds really fun. I'd love to come by and see your work. She smiles largely. Amazing. Here's the invitation. She hands Ophir a small card. They raise an eyebrow. Very fancy, they tease. Luxine smiles, a bit embarrassed. I'll see you then, she says. I want to see this art. Holy shit, that looks so cool. The art exposition is very cool. Based on this, it's gotta be. If not a bit too formal for Ophir's taste. Several artists are being featured. Luxum's work is a collection of wire statues that move subtly when they're not being watched. It is gorgeously terrifying. Ophir spots Abella and Corey, and the three of them walk around commenting on different pieces and despairing over their prices. Okay, as someone who would definitely accidentally buy a haunted doll, I don't think I could take something that moves when it's not being watched. I don't think I could do it. Like, consciously, you know? Okay. I'm happy to see you outside your lab, Abella says as the night winds to an end. See you again? Corey asks. I'll agree. Absolutely, I'll see you soon, Ophir says with a smile. They both feel happy and worried to see how much this pleases their friend. After 3 months left in building the wooden skeleton, Ophir feels that they are on a roll. All theory is actualizing with an ease that is relieving, unexpected, and entirely pleasing. Ophir realizes that they are ahead of schedule and they can reduce their work estimate by a month. A month elapses. One day, Ophir looks up from their work to see Abella walking in. She looks at the bones that they have almost finished and immediately looks away. She turns her gaze instead to Ophir. It's the last warm day of the year, she says. Come to the beach with me. Let's go to the beach. To be fair, I hate going to the beach. Too much sand, just gross. As long as we stop at my favorite cheese shop on the way, Ophir says, getting up from their seats. Deal, Abella says with a smile. After stopping at the cheese shop to pick up some things to snack on, Ophir and Abella walk along the beach. There's a cool breeze coming off the water. After a bit, they find some large flat rocks to sit on. How are you doing, Ophir? This is so pretty. So that's what I meant to say. I think we're going to... in public, I would shift the focus. Things have been well. I'm a lot interested in how you're doing. Abella launches into a few anecdotes about work and other friends. Ophir listens and nods along with a smile. Okay, I'm supposed to have the day off work. That's why I'm playing the sad crying game. But who knows? We'll do our best. Okay, work continues with its usual ups and downs, but Ophir can tell the end is in sight. Anticipation rises as they visualize the remaining skeleton parts coming together. A month later. Ophir is working late one night, or is it early one morning, when Max comes barging through their front door. Hello, he says... Okay, Ophir is working late one night when Max comes barging through their front door. Okay, hello, he says, I need help with some work that's got your name on it. Ask him to explain. With great pain, Ophir tears their eyes from the diagram they're halfway through drawing. What is it? I'm going to make the best haunted house this world has ever seen, Max declares loudly. Okay, agree to hear more. I'm listening, but it doesn't mean I'm agreeing to anything. Okay, wait, let me back up. So, haunted house. What do all haunted houses need? I'll guess. Ghosts? No, wrong. Haunted houses need skeletons, Max exclaims joyfully. And do you know how to make skeletons? Let Max finish. for your size. That's right, you can make skeletons, or at least make them move. Actually, I don't know. Can you make skeletons? Can you make Haru skeletons? Admit to bone control proficiency. The subtle changes in the face is so good too. I have dabbled in necromancy in the past. Max Beam. See, I knew you for the job. This one, I'm reluctant, but I will agree to help because I do love haunted houses. In theory, not in practice. I don't want to go inside. Okay, Ophir concedes. I'll help you with your haunted house skeletons. A huge smile spreads across Max's face. I promise you won't regret it. God, oh, okay. No regrets. This is perfect. After a few weeks of work on the synthetic skeletons, which Ophir actually finds somewhat enlightening and decides to bring concept form into their own monster crafting, the haunted house is ready. Ophir and Max hide and watch customers scream as they realize the skeleton is moving towards them without strings. The dancing skeleton who offers to waltz is Ophir's favorite. Max likes the one who walks along the ceiling and chatters its teeth. All of Max's coworkers are duly impressed, and Ophir is invited to their dinner to celebrate the haunted house's success. It's a really fun evening that feels well earned. Peak art. After 5 months, Ophir has finally completed the monster's bones. Looks great. Okay, a small thrill flows through them. They step back and examine the work. Yes, it is definitely something redemptive, but their growing smile falters in the face of a startling thought. Would she have liked it? It's a pointless exercise. Ophir tells us it doesn't matter if she would have liked it, she'll never see it. Ophir returns to their notes. They decide which part of the monster to construct next. Nervous system. We might do mech. Necromancy. Okay, after completing the bones, a brain and nervous system will allow the monster to move and think. Ophir should make it next to ensure it interfaces well with the rest of the body. Ophir ponders what the best material to make with. I like this. This looks great. I feel like necromancy organically goes through with plants. I think we do plant skin for sure. I'm torn between mech and necromancy. So we shouldn't do like pure plants, right? Let's do mech. So necromancy always just kind of freaks me out a little bit, you know? An inorganic computer brain would grant versatility and durability. Is also probably the most straightforward option. Finding computer parts to use could pose a challenge though. Let's build. Ophir's never built a supercomputer and equipped it with an adequately sophisticated neural sim before, but they played around with complex, smaller scope computer projects, and as their teachers used to say, anything is possible with a little or a shit ton of magic. It'll take more time than finding a suitable computer parts and code bases, but means Ophir won't need to compromise on the design. Overall, Ophir estimates it should take 6 months to complete the work. A month passes. Corey drops by one November afternoon and deposits a cookie on Ophir's desk. You make this? Ophir asks. Corey nods and Ophir snatches up and begins untying the loose wrapping. There's more where that came from, Corey laughs. Oh, Ophir asks between mouthfuls of cookie. We're hanging out at Bella's tonight and I'm bringing 2 boxes worth. Fall into the cookie. Okay, this is really funny though. Reject sin, work awaits. No. You can always get me to leave the house with cookie. Is that an invitation? Corey smiles. Do you want the cookies or not? Absolutely, I want the cookies. Corey's smile widens a few notches. I'll see you tonight then. Ophir arrives at Abella's apartment that evening. They hesitate for a moment. They haven't been here since before. They remind themselves that cookies are waiting on the other side of the door and knock. Abella opens the door with a smile. I'm so glad you made it, she says. Ooh, I like this rug. And the plants. Abella's apartment looks the same as Ophir remembers. As they walk in, they see Corey and Max already settled in the living room. The promised cookies are laid out on the coffee table. Ophir spends some time cautiously discussing how things have been. They try not to say too much about the monster. It's not too hard when they keep grabbing more cookies. Max eventually suggests starting a movie, and Ophir glances at the time. Alright, okay, here. Realistically, movies with friends, pretty hit and miss. Depends on the movie and on the friends. Are they like peanut gallery friends? Because some movies, you know, you can't have a peanut gallery. But we've eaten the cookies. We could just leave and get more work done. I always feel like in real life, when I say for the movie, it's a bad time. Like, either the movie isn't good, or my friends, like, talk through it, and it was a good movie, but now, like, it's tainted forever. We're gonna leave. We'll do, like, one bad choice. Ophir makes the apologies and goodbyes. Their friends are sad to see them go, but Ophir knows it's for the best. They need to get home and ensure they don't fall behind. They'll make it back to their friends another time. Ophir hits a breakthrough in their work. The computer pattern recognition is processing far above expectations, as are the sensors aiding the peripheral nervous system's response times. The advances put them about a month ahead of schedule. Ophir is ecstatic. A month elapsed. Before Ophir realizes that the year is over. It's been almost 9 months since. Ophir examines the letter in their hand. It's from Abella. She's inviting them to a New Year's party she's hosting. Behind the open letter, the huge pile of work on their desk looms. They had hoped to finish prototyping a new design for a connecting piece this week. We're going to the party. Ophir has been working diligently, keeping long hours and taking little time to rest. They can spare the time for a break this evening. They call up Abella and let her know they'll be able to make it. She sounds very pleased, and it makes Ophir smile. Ophir arrives at Abella's party in fancy clothes that pinch a little. No, we wouldn't do this. Abella opens the door with a huge grin, and Ophir promptly shoves a bottle of champagne in her face. Thanks for inviting me, they say. Of course, Abella exclaims. Thanks for coming. She takes the champagne and then Ophir's coat, showing them inside. We'll promise this is a fun night of reminiscing and declaring next year promises. The only awkward moment is when someone who's a friend of a friend of Ophir's mentions to Lady. The room falls silent, and briefly as someone else pulls this friend or friend away, Ophir can very clearly hear them having a terse conversation about not mentioning her and Ophir's present. Ophir resolutely ignores this. Soon after, they noticed Max and Abella watching them like they might break into a million pieces. Ophir also resolutely ignores this. Corey comes over with a fresh glass of champagne, and they all toast to friendship, and everything is fine after that. Or at least that's what Ophir tells himself. I would have fully left the party. The room counts down to midnight and erupts in cheers and hugs. Ophir sends sparks flying over the champagne flutes, much to the party's enjoyment and Abella's nervousness. She double-checked that with Ophir that it is safe to drink at least a dozen times before letting her guests toast. After midnight, many of the guests begin making goodbyes and heading home. The party slowly grows quieter and warmer. We're going to talk to Abella. I don't know if it's going to be like we can talk to everyone or not, but let's at least talk to Abella if there's only one choice. Ophir finds Abella in the kitchen. She's packing up leftovers and loading the dishwashers. Offer to help. Need any help? Oh, I'm almost done, Abella replies. Did you have fun tonight? Ask her if she had fun. We're dodging all of our questions. A lot of time people ask me if I have a good time, and I always lie. Oh, what about you? Did you have a good time? I did, yeah. Bella pauses for a second. I'm worried about you. It's been more than half a year, and you're still shut up in your lab most days. Worrying about if you're eating, sleeping is tiring. I really care about you, and seeing you like this is hard. And I know you need time. It's only been 9 months, and I've given you space and time, but it's clear things aren't working as they are. Have you talked to anyone about it lately? I don't want this conversation to happen again, so let's just explain. It'll be different. I will promise to get help, and then hopefully I can just choose not to. You're right, I haven't spoken to anyone. I promise I'll talk to someone. Thank you. I'm always here if you need me, but I think you should look into it before talking to a professional. I will, thanks. After wrapping up their conversation with Abella, Ophir chats with a few more friends. Some silly party games are played, and Ophir finds themselves laughing more than they have in a long time. A few hours later, Ophir makes their goodbyes and heads home. It's quite a bit later than they had expected to be out, but somehow they can't find the energy to be anxious about it. It was nice seeing friends. The warmth of that feeling follows them home. Ophir is surprised by how easily everything is coming along. The work is less tiring than usual, and it feels like Ophir could spare some energy for other activities without worrying about it and running out. Ooh, a month of work later. On January 14th, Ophir realizes it's Abella's birthday tomorrow. They glance over at their phone. It's probably not too late to make plans. I mean, we're not gonna skip Abella's birthday. Ophir opens their phone and calls Max. A picks up on the second ring. Am I dead, or is this not a call from the renowned hermit, Ophir Sonnet? I'll make a sarcastic joke. No, this is your landlord. I'm kicking you out in order to fill your place with rubber ducks. The monarch of humor returns at last, cries Max. Yes, thank you. Jokes aside, I'm calling about Abella's birthday. The very birthday that is in fact tomorrow, Max replies. Yes, that's the one. Well, you're in luck because I've already made all the plans. We're meeting at Corey's tomorrow at 2. Max proceeds to list a series of events that Ophir realizes will take up their entire rest of their afternoon and evening. We'll agree to the whole event. Unless it's like paintball or something. It really would depend on what the events were, but this is a video game and I don't actually have to get up, so we'll agree to go to the whole event. Sounds great. I'll be there. Amazing. But I'll be so happy you can make it. Ophir can hear her smile through the phone. Ophir has a really enjoyable afternoon with their friends. They play some party games at Corey's and then go see a movie. There are too many aliens and later beams in the film for Ophir's liking, but Abella loves it. The evening concludes with a visit to Abella's favorite restaurant. This is a fine. Ophir finds himself smiling and laughing more than they have in a long time. At the end of the evening, Abella gives Ophir a huge hug. Thank you so much for coming. It really means a lot to me. When Ophir gets home, the scattered pieces of the monster are waiting for them. Guilt rises, sudden, overwhelming. How could they have been out for so long and just left her like this? They gaze at her part-made form and, as a sinner before their god, promises to do better. And yet, a small part of them wonders maybe they're already giving enough. Ophir spends some time testing the nervous system, watching his inputs are translated to outputs and back, watching different parts light up and process information. They layer together webs connecting nodes, creating meaning interlinked. They know with as much certainty as they've had about anything that the monster can awaken, and when she does, she will know all. Ophir's washing up, some mostly non-caustic chemicals had spilled when their phone starts ringing. They finish cleaning everything and check their missed calls. Max has been trying to reach them. We'll call Max back. Without thinking much of it, Ophir calls Max back. Oh, hi, Ophir. Glad you called back. What's up, Max? I was wondering if you're free this afternoon. I want to chat. Sure, come by. I'll be home. Great. A few hours later. Ophir is pulled out of their work by a knock on the door. They make their way over and find Max holding a large bag. I brought snacks, Max explains. Faye pushes back Ophir and begins moving papers to make room to set up. Those are organized. Ophir grabs the papers from Max's hands and begins putting them away more elegantly. Sorry, but hey, I brought your favorite. Max pulls out containers of assorted cheeses. Ooh! Alright, you're forgetting. Given. Hand over the cheese. Max obliges, and the two catch up as they compare cheeses from the selection Max brought. After some time, Ophir asks, do you have something specific you want to talk about? Yes, actually, I appreciate all the effort you've been putting into looking after yourself, and I want to make sure that you know that. I was really worried for a really long time. It's hard to see you like that. Max smiles, but Ophir can see the pain Faye's trying to hide. It's been nice seeing you more often. I miss you so much. Apologize. Thanks for letting me know that, Max. It means a lot to hear. I just want to make sure you knew that I knew how hard it's been for you and how much I appreciate the work you've been putting in. I'm so happy you're doing better. But they're not who they once were. I am better, Max, but I don't want to mislead you. I'm not at the place I used to be. I'm not sure I'll ever be like that again. I understand, Max says quietly. I don't expect you to be. I'm happy with the you that you are now, and I'm happy you're letting us in and letting us support you where you need it. They share a hug, and Ophir is definitely not crying at all as they finish the last of the cheese. Finally, Max gets up with a smile. This was so nice. Thanks for having me over. Thank you for all the cheeses. My pleasure. See you again soon? Ophir smiles, definitely. The next month of work is a bit frantic. Ophir hits a snag and works doubly hard to make up for lost time. They are still aiming to be done in 1 month. Their month of work. One day while in the middle of some very complicated calculation, Ophir gets a text from Abella. It reads, got a minute? It's important. Then Ophir's phone starts to ring. I'm not going to ignore it. Hi, Abella, what's up? Hi, is this alright? I want to revisit our conversation about talking to someone for help. Oh! We'll do the right choices in a video game. I would not in real life. I'm listening, Ophir says tentatively. Thank you, Abella says. I found someone I think could be really great for you. I'm asking you to give them a try. Yeah, okay, hold on a second. If Abella was making the appointments, I would make an effort. One session, Ophir concedes. They know it will make Abella happy. About a week later, Ophir shows up at the therapist's office. They talk to the therapist about work. They do not mention Delaney. It goes okay. Ophir feels a little better by the end of it, but they are a bit stressed about the time they're losing that could be spent working. At the end of the session, the receptionist asks if they can book another one. We'll book another one. Ophir books another session the following week. Okay, one spoiler, the therapy one, the achievement is called picking at scabs. That's so good. After 5 months of work, the monster's brain is complete. Ooh, look at this. I love like sort of the gold foiling kind of look. It looks great. I didn't even notice these buttons before. Is this a save? Ooh, we should have been saving. Oopsies. What is this? Oh, history. Okay, perfect. At least I'd have it if I need it. Ophir steps back and takes a look at their work so far. The wood skeleton paired with the computer nervous system is breathtaking, but Ophir notices flaws here and there. The work isn't good enough. They begin to doubt if what they're making will even come close to what they had envisioned. With the final piece, everything will coalesce or come apart. No matter, Ophir isn't one to not finish what they've started. All that remains is the monster's skin. The flesh will cover the monster, finally allowing it to exist in its full glory. Now choose the method by which they shall complete the monster. I still think plant magic. I don't. This just seems like bad vibes, you know? The best way to apply plant magic to the skin would be to form the bark and leaves. Ophir checks the notes and realizes they're gonna need a lot of plant materials for this to work. Let's grow again from scratch. I think it's worth the time. Also, I don't want to go out looking for plants. Ophir doesn't have the experience shaping plants into skin, but they're confident that they can get what they need through time and effort. Growing it themselves will allow for more control in any case, and it'll be a great learning experience. After doing some preliminary research and checking their existing nodes, Ophir estimates they can complete the outer layer in 3 months, after a month of work. On April 2nd, Ophir packs a bag. They include water, a candy bar, an umbrella, their keys, and their wallet. They take a considering look at their phone. They want to be alone today. We gotta pack the phone. Okay, I just noticed a little bunny sticker. That's so cute. Ophir throws their phone in their bag, throws their bag over their shoulder, and walks at the door. The walk to the cemetery is long, but Ophir doesn't mind it. When they get here, they realize they don't know where to go. They've never been before. After a little while of meandering, they find a groundskeeper who points them in the right direction. Soon after that, they find the grave. Delaney's grave. Ooh, I like the flower. Ophir sits down in front of the grave. They watch silently for a while. Finally, they speak. Let's tell her how they're doing. I'm doing okay. I'm working on a really cool project. I also started therapy recently. We'll keep talking. Our friends have been working really hard to drag me out to do things besides work. It was a bit frustrating at first, but I think I appreciate it. They really care about me. I'm trying to be a better friend to them. What do we want to do here? I'm an avoider. We're gonna avoid. They mentioned some things that I can do when missing you hurts too much. I've been trying out the exercises. They help. I miss you deeply. I just want you to come back. And I know that can never happen, but that doesn't stop me from wanting it. I am half made again. I am weak and faulty without you. You made me better, and now I'm lost. We'll talk about the monster. Avoiding as much as possible. The work that I'm doing, I'm building a monster. I know it's for you. It's for you. I know it won't be you. It probably won't be anything like you. But when you died, it felt like you took a part of me with you. I'm trying to get that piece back. And I know this monster won't be able to do that, but in my heart, I feel like it could. The monster will be redemptive, and it's all for you. I hope you hate it. Ophir wipes up the tears and gets up. They rummage in their bag, pulling out the candy bar, leaving it on top of the tombstone. I really like this shading on the hand, too. On their way home, Ophir notices their phone is ringing. It's Abella. Hi, Bella. I just want to check in how you're doing. I know today is, I'll talk about the cemetery. I went to the cemetery today. And how'd that go? She asked tentatively. It was really hard, but it was nice talking to her, even if she didn't reply. Do you want to talk about it? Thank you for the offer and hang up. Maybe another time they say thanks for asking. Ophir says goodbye and hangs up the phone. I mean, realistically, I would wait, but I guess if they kept pushing, I would hang up. That night, Ophir tosses and turns, trapped in their restless dream of that living. Let me try that again. That night, Ophir tosses and turns, trapped in the restless sleep of the living. They dreamed that they finished the monster, laid the final piece, and awakened her. She opens her eyes, and it's a copy of a copy of a copy of a face they used to know. A face they still love. Distorted, repeated, and fragmented, almost past recognition. Let's watch her. Ophir gazes at her, trying to make in the details of her form. She stands there watching them in return until finally the monster moves. She opens her mouth to speak and fear rises, quick and clawing. What would be worse, that the monster really is Delaney or that she is not? Her glazed gaze digs into Ophir's eyes. She says, "You are selfish to have made me. How could you? How dare you? You inspire only hate in my rooted, molding heart." No. Ophir wakes with a start, shivering and panting. They curl themselves and don't sleep again that night. Ophir hits a hitch with their work. Frustrated, they redo their calculations and add a month to their estimated timeline. A month elapses. One sunny spring morning, Ophir is making coffee when they notice the tulips in the yard have begun to blossom. They remember that Corey is quite fond of tulips. We'll invite Corey to the tulip farm. Ophir calls up Corey. He picks up immediately. Is everything okay? Yeah, I just want to know if you wanted to go see the tulips with me. Are you serious? Yes, I would absolutely die to go see tulips with you. I'll pick you up in 20 minutes. Before Ophir has the chance to say anything else, Corey hangs up. As promised, Corey shows up 10 minutes later. He plays folk rock over the drive to the tulip farm. The flowers are stunning, lined up line in rows of solid colors. They fill the eye, creating a world of blooms. Corey and Ophir take a few photos and pick a couple tulips to take home with them. As they walk back to the car, Corey puts a hand on Ophir's shoulder. I really appreciate you calling me and inviting me out. Discuss the experience instead. That was really fun. Thank you for coming here to see me. Corey smiles. I hope I see you again soon. The work has advanced well since last month's setback. Looking over the range of skin prototypes, Ophir feels good about their progress so far. A month later, Ophir is middle of working out a spell when their phone rings. They glance at the offending device, weighing how much of a distraction it would be to pick it up. Ooh, we don't know who it is. We'll still pick it up. Hello? Hi, Ophir. It's Luxum's voice. It's been a while, and this is really last minute, but are you free today? Yes, we'll make time. Yeah, I got time, Ophir says. Outstanding, Luxum replies. I'm taking you painting. Ooh. Luxum meets Ophir at a park that they've visited before, but not in a long while. They help her carry easels, canvases, and paint from our car. She has a spot in mind to set up, the top of a small hill overlooking a pond on one side and a small clump of trees in the other. This looks great. The watercolor paper was like such a perfect choice for this. Like for the background, like everything just flows together so nicely. As Luxum sets up the easels, nerves begin to gather in Ophir's chest. Confess to a lack of painting skills. Luxum, I don't know how to paint. I can give you some pointers if you want, but why don't you just jump in and play around with it? Whatever you make doesn't need to be any specific way. Let's ask for pointers. I take some pointers. Luxum smiles. My main advice is not to be intimidated by the paint. Use as much as you want and definitely use more than you think you need. Try making whatever you want, and once you're a bit further into it, I can give you specific advice. Sure, thanks. At least Luxum won't feel bad if they waste a bunch of her paint. That's a very good... Let's watch her paint. Watching Luxum paint is like watching a cloth slowly being pulled off her masterpiece. She paints in layers that gradually synthesize into shape and feeling. Witnessing her paint feels like seeing an art unto itself. By the end of it, Ophir realizes that Luxum has painted a night sky reflecting in a pond. Fish jump from its waters and leaves float along its surface. Along the edge of the pond are piles of bones. It looks nothing like the park. Luxum casts a spell that Ophir doesn't entirely fodder, and the water begins to ripple subtly. She winks at them. Compliment the painting. Wow, Luxum, that's incredible. She smiles. Thank you. It comes with years of practice. She was never good at accepting compliments. Ophir is glad that some things haven't changed. Ophir helps pack up the easels and carry them and the paintings back to Luxum's car. She drops them back at home and they wave goodbye with a wave. Ophir reached a block in the spell they're crafting when a conversation with Abella comes to mind. She'd been working on something that needed to be stretched but not lose its stability. Referencing her descriptions, Ophir finishes the test-ready spell formulation. A few days later, the skin patch they're working on is finally behaving the way they need. A current of excitement hums just below Ophir's skin. They can't wait to try applying the spell to more of the skin tomorrow. Another month passes. Max barges into Ophir's apartment one day, July. Ophir doesn't look up. They are far past used to their friends bursting in unannounced. This will never be me. My doors are always locked. Hi, Ophir. We're going to the beach. Do you want to join? I hate going to the beach, but I will for Max. Sure, Ophir says, putting down the prototype they're working on. When are you leaving? Right now. Ophir quickly packs a small bag and follows Max outside. Abella waves at them from the passenger seat of Corey's car. I'm glad you can make it, she says. You just had to tell me Abella was coming. What follows is a pleasant afternoon at the beach. Bella brought cheeses for Ophir, which makes him smile. Max and Corey get into a water fight while Ophir reads a book under an umbrella and Abella's sun tans. It is perfectly lovely. Once everyone is beached out, Corey drops Ophir back at home. They wave as the car pulls away. At long last, after 2 months and 1 year of work, Ophir has completed the monster. Ooh, there's our skin! Ophir takes a step back to take her in. Admire her. Ooh, okay, I love these eyes. As they look upon their creation, her skeleton is wood, her brain is a computer, and her flesh is bark. Yes, she's truly redemptive. She too is an abomination. The combination of like the computer parts and flowers, it's really cool. They feel, without yet knowing her, Ophir feels a vast and deep love drowning them. They have poured themselves into her, and here she lies, waiting. I mean, we should see what happens, right? Realistically speaking, I probably wouldn't wake it up, but we gotta know, right? We gotta know. Ophir casts the last spell and the monster opens her eyes. She looks upon Ophir, expressionless. Oh, look at the eyes. They look so good. Speak to her. Can you speak, they ask. She shakes her head softly. She holds out her hand. Take it. I love the mushrooms and the flesh too. That's so good. Ophir takes her hand very gently. She puts her other hand on top of theirs. Ophir begins to cry. Time passes. Over the following months, Ophir retreats further from the world. They spend all their time with the monster, hoping she'll one day be more than she is. The monster is very kind. Ophir needs to keep reminding themselves that it's not the monster's fault. Nothing is her fault. She stays with Ophir and is patient, understanding. She's always there for Ophir, always trying to help. She's everything they wanted. Ophir's friends keep reaching out, trying to make plans, but Ophir turns themselves further and further away. They have the monster now and she's everything they need. How could they leave her? Okay, hang on. Realistically, I realize it's a video game, and this is, plot-wise, this makes perfect sense. I'm not criticizing it. However, if I made an extremely hot plant monster, all of my friends are seeing her. You know? Like, they have to know. I have made this hot plants monster, and I would like you to see her. Right? But it is fair. This is fair. Everything about the monster only makes Ophir think of how she's not but a hollow imitation. The monster will never be a Delaney, but Ophir will never be alone again. If Ophir feels bitterness that the monster keeps them from seeing their friends out of shame, out of horror, out of love, then they bury that feeling deep within themselves. And if Ophir feels hollow, an emptiness that grows inside them each night, they ignore it. Everything is as it should be. The end. I should have saved! So we could have reloaded it. That would have been smart. Oh! Oh, okay. What I'll do is I'll quickly speedrun it. I'll speedrun it so we can see the alt, but I won't record the speedrun, but we will read this. I'm Making a Monster was developed primarily in Toronto, Canada, one of the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississauga of the Credit, the Anishinaabeg, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples. Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. The rights of the Indigenous people are being violated. Settler colonialism is and has been actively dismantling their connection to their land and their cultures through historic and ongoing genocide. We encourage settlers to unlearn colonial history, deconstruct their privilege, and learn about Indigenous cultures and settler responsibilities. In this way, we learn the truth of the land we live on and reject Indigenous erasure and colonial myths. Seeing rejected and Indigenous together definitely fried my brain for a second. We want to highlight the global land back movement, which aims to return land to Indigenous peoples. By returning land, self-governance and environmental stewardship are returned as well. The land back movement is led by Indigenous people, and we emphasize the importance of listening to Indigenous people and their following their leadership as we act towards land return and reconciliation. Some of the lands in the land back sovereignty, caring for the land, distinct identity, are represented in the dish with one spoon wampum. In Toronto, the wampum is a peace agreement between the Anishinaabeg and the Haudenosaunee, in which the land is seen as a dish that we, the spoon, share in spirit of mutual cooperation. We ensure the dish remains full by caring for the land, its animals, and its people with the goal of mutual benefit and sustainability. And I'm Making a Monster, your character is struggling with loss and their community tries to support them through grief. We exist in a world of interconnectedness, and severing ourselves will only harm ourselves and others in the long term. By rejecting individualism and recognizing the importance of community, we can work towards care and understanding. This care should also extend to the world we inhabit and share, which is just as much part of a community. As we are responsible for caring for one another, we too are responsible for caring for the land. We work towards this by upholding the spirit and intent of the dish with one spoon, wampum, and other treaties. The game was also developed in Bandung in Indonesia, where it is hard to speak about developing queer games and hard to know who to trust with one's words. We test the waters and tread lightly, employing effort where the energy feels warranted. We find community where we can and treasure it even more dearly because of it. Queer people have always existed and will never stop existing. They were here on Turtle Island before the settler colonists came. We are here even when not wanted. We don't have a choice. Queerness exists whether we can speak its name or not. We remember those who have come before us, those who were killed by fascism and hate, and so will always be somewhat unknown to us. Those who fled persecution and brought their families to these lands. Those who build the foundations of our homes. Thank you for working towards a world where we can follow our dreams. Here's our credits. I think the thing too is the message fits so well with like the story the game's trying to tell as well. It's just very good. Fungus Discord community for debugging and technical support. Oh, that's a really good name. So I was originally going to record another ending, like just what happens if, you know, you let the monster go, but I've changed my mind. I'm just gonna leave it as is. I'm not a person who likes to go easy, especially after that amount of work. But also like I think it's worth picking up this game. Like it's like it's a wonderful game. It's gorgeous. I know there's another CG at the end when you let the monster go, and then there's other options. I think there's another route as well there. I didn't explore it. I didn't click it, but there's this game is full, and it is so much work to have like pretty much, you know, most of the different like scenes have different unique CGs. It's just it's gorgeous. And like coding the pronoun section alone was like work, you know, like that isn't, I know like it seems easy that you can just like toggle this sort of stuff, but it actually takes like a lot of work even in the way that you're writing it to make sure that you can just swap out pronouns easily like that. It's this has been like such a huge effort, like based on what I'm looking at it, right? Like none of this seems easy, and I really think it's worth supporting Zorky Studios so that they can keep making beautiful games like this, you know? But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video because I had such a good time playing this. I know like it seems maybe it was a little rough, but it's so cathartic. Like if I was alone, this would have been like just a nice time, and it was still good recording. It's just it takes a little bit longer to edit and to, you know, play it, that kind of thing. But yeah, this was just truly wonderful. Ugh.